The Movies of the Meek, where we watch made-for-TV movies and miniseries so you don't have to. From Gia to Xenon, Hysteria to Sybil, welcome to Movies of the Meek.
Porn.
Zach, what was the plot of this film? It's your turn to describe it.
This is a 2005 Lifetime original movie about a teenage swimmer getting addicted to internet porn and the following collapse of his family, his relationship,
His life.
Yeah.
Swimming was the only chance he would have had to go to college.
But internet porn destroyed that chance.
He threw it all away. I like how when he's emailing people about porn, he goes by the name Stroke Man.
Yeah, at the beginning it's Stroke Man? Question mark?
Man.
And then towards the end it's just Swimmer.
Swimmer. Yeah.
Oh, Stroke Man was kind of funny because of the content of this movie.
I also thought it was funny. I was like, I get it. It's like a double entendre. That's pretty solid. It has a cold open with him committing suicide.
Attempting.
That was a brave choice.
And it was a sweet transition from his suicide attempt to the beginning of the movie with him swimming.
Yeah, it was a nice cross dissolve into that.
One of the, I typically don't like cross dissolves, but it was one of the better transitions in this movie.
Yo, fact. There are a lot of fucking terrible transitions in this movie, and
so I've never
is
seen a fade to green before, but this movie has it. Actually, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but half of my notes are when it faded to different colors. I think it faded to blue, a bright blue about 5 times.
It faded to blue the most.
And then there was a fade to green right in the middle for some reason.
It wasn't until like the third fade to blue that I was like, it's been fading to blue this whole time. What the fuck? But part of me thought that maybe the fade to blue was because of the fact that it's like dealing with computer screens. And, like, you know, you would have, like, a blue computer screen, and I was like, maybe that's just the way they thought of computer screens back then. But then we got that fade to green, and I was like, never fucking mind. And you're like, I think it has to do with his emotion. And then you're like, oh, well, I think his emotion would be more blue than it would be green right now. And then there's a fade to black, like, right after the fade to green.
Black.
Classic black. And then it goes back to fade to fucking blue.
Can we point out that it ends with a fade to blue?
It ends with a fade to blue in the most abrupt and strange way. I love the new metal music that's played in this soundtrack.
Yeah.
Because, like, when it first started, and it's, like, him in the high school, they introduce the girlfriend, and she's like, I love you, and he's like, I love you, too, and she's like, good swim, and then afterwards, you know, you find out that there's, like, who's gonna make the all-star team? Oh, he did, and he's like, fuck it, I'm the shit, and then it's him walking down the hallways at the school, and it's playing just some god-awful new metal music.
They have a couple bands, they mentioned Switchfoot, Linkin Park, Green Day, but they didn't pay for the rights to any of that music, so they just found bands that sounded like Linkin Park
or made up,
or the one was like intentionally made to sound like a Linkin Park song.
But yeah, and so
fun. I loved it.
So because of him being good enough at swimming, some of the popular jocks want to hang out with him, and so they invite him to a party, which he takes his girlfriend to. And then the one jock is like, hey, why don't you come downstairs? And he's like, yeah, okay. And they go downstairs, and it's just a bunch of people watching porn. And the one thing that I've kind of been questioning is that they seem to watch porn on television sets. Like, they have the ability to have a TV that can play stuff from their computer, and this is 2005, and I feel like we
guys,
weren't really setting rigs up like that.
We were
at that
still on
time.
VGA back then.
Like,
I mean, we did not have HDMI
Yeah.
ports, I don't think.
no.
But they were very... I mean, he was able to switch from a video game, Xbox One, original Xbox, to porn.
Like, instantly.
Instantly, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a nice setup.
And that's also the guy's like, yo, that shit's twisted. Get it off of there.
That shit's twisted. That didn't happen that scene. That happened a little later because wasn't his name Justin?
No, I mean when he's switching between the Xbox to the porn.
Oh, yeah. Because he... and that leads to my favorite nickname in the whole movie. Leather Boy.
Leather Boy.
Well, because he's like, yo, I found this fucking dope shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, just a bunch of like gimp outfits. Like men, it was like men in gimp suits. And then he like cut to some woman wearing leather. And he's like, yo, that shit's twisted. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, that's not that bad.
I mean,
like Dita Von Teese is like a huge public figure, and she wears shit like that like daily.
I don't think
people are fine with her.
If it was like something like really out there,
yeah,
I could see him, but that's not that bad. I don't think that was. I mean, they made fun of him at school. It was a whole ordeal after that.
But yeah, so they're just literally sitting there and watching porn, and that's when, you know, they introduce the girl Monica, who he lusts after, and she becomes like this main character that he and my problem with the structuring of this movie that was very confusing is that you never see him jerk off or anything, or there's never really an implication that he jerks off. And so it's like, the question is like, what defines him as being addicted to porn? Because it isn't until the last 20 minutes of the movie that he actually takes his parents' credit card and buys porn, you know, and so it's... His addiction is just that he likes looking at pictures of clothed people. like there really isn't anything up until the last 20 minutes of the movie that you're like, oh, he has a problem. It's literally just like he gets obsessed with objectifying women, and that's literally all that it is. And, you know, he meets this girl Monica when they're all watching porn, and he noticed that Monica, you know, has a bit of indifference towards it. And so that's when he's like, yeah, I'll fuck her fucking brains out.
Well, can we talk about Monica real quick? Because
Yes.
Monica.
Yeah.
She is dating one of the jocks at the school.
Yeah.
She's a senior at the high school.
Yeah.
She goes to the school.
Yeah. So she might be 18.
Possibly. So that might... So it's not okay. That's not a plot hole anymore. It's okay, cool. So she, in her free time, as most people do, she has a website where she posts not nude pictures because everything's clothed, but very sexual pictures of herself.
One with her with a cowboy hat. Continue.
And so Justin meets her at the beginning of the movie, and frequents her website throughout the movie, and communicates with her
through the website as if like he was talking to someone on Craigslist. You know what I mean? Like trying to be anonymous or something. But he goes to school with her. Yeah. And when they finally do meet, they meet at like some shitty dive bar. Yeah. But like, why don't they just? And why does he have to hit her up on her website? Why don't they just like? I mean, I think they talk to each other in school at one point, right? Yeah, they do.
I don't understand. Like, it was almost as if like she was written as just a cam girl. Yeah. And they had him interacting with her the whole movie, and then they decided to like make her a student at the school.
Yeah, and that's
it's really confusing because you're like, did she go to the school? Like,
yeah,
we had no idea.
We were debating that for a little while. Yeah, and that's. It would have made more sense if she didn't go to the school, you know?
Agreed. Yeah.
Because then if he did find some way to meet her, then it could be like a thing where like she puts a restraining order out against him, and it's like it becomes like a real problem. And that's it up until, once again, the last 20 minutes of the movie, it's never really like a huge problem other than just like he is a fucking idiot and so he doesn't get enough sleep because he's looking at pictures of clothed women. And so he does badly, and you know he's on his girlfriend's PDA looking at some clothed women. You know,
what a PDA.
And this porn, hilariously enough, spreads like a virus throughout the school. Like the younger brother gets hooked on it. He shows it to his little friend, and the jocks are like, "I keep getting spam from you, you piece of shit."
It's twisted, bro. It's twisted. I mean, the way they treat porn in this movie is just crazy.
Yeah.
I know it was a different time, but like, whew.
Yeah. And it's only interesting just because of the fact that every incarnation of pornography has been treated the same. You know, if we look back through the entire history of pornography, like my personal favorite one is that, you know, if we go back before even like Playboy, if we go back to the erotic dime novels, which were they're stories. It doesn't actually have fucking like pictures of nude women. It's erotica novels, which were 10 cents, you know, and you'd pay for this erotica story. And when those were coming out, kids were buying them. And there was a huge thing where the United States was like, it's tainting the minds of the youth. It's corrupting everything. All they want to do is read these fucking dime novels, which in comparison to watching, like, you know, some chick get railed by 7 guys and they fucking jizz all over her and fucking punch her in the face at the end, like, in comparison to that, you know, it's like,
we're gonna put a warning on this episode.
it's like so fucking different, you know, like dime novels, like you're reading something, you know.
And the shit he was watching is just so tame compared to what's out there even now, and now we're getting into virtual reality porn.
But I'm just saying that in comparison to every era that there has been pornography, no matter what it was always looked at in the same way. And that's what I find hilarious, is that it's like, this has always been a part of our society.
Yeah. It's always like the old generation like looking at the new generation and being like, I can't, you guys are fucking sick.
Yeah.
But the dad was like, the dad has a talk with his son, with Justin, about porn, and he was like, I used to hide my Playboys under the bed, and I used to jack off all the time.
Yeah.
But it's just, but like, he was doing the same thing that his son's doing.
Yeah.
His son's just a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And lazy. Yeah. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
I still blame the girlfriend a little bit, though.
But that's the thing, is that it's like this movie isn't even about like oddly porn addiction or like sex addiction. It's just about like someone managing their time badly while they're fantasizing. And like, yeah, you could say that because the girlfriend is abstaining from sex, like, you know, she drove him to this point. But you know,
but he has the choice not to do it. Like,
it's one of those things where it's like, the funniest thing is when him seeing porn one time causes him to objectify every girl in the school, man. And he has flashbacks of the porn that he looks at while he sees girls. Like, it shows a zoomed up shot of a girl's butt, and it instantly flashes to like a girl in her underwear.
Like a webpage of that. Yeah. Oh, dude, the look of his brother. So his brother catches him watching. His little brother catches him watching porn, and he's like, "I'm gonna tell mom." And Justin was like, "All right, fuck it. Here, I'll show it to you." Here. And the look on that kid's face when he sees those clothed boobies,
just fucking dead inside.
Shell shock, dude. Like, fuck. They're at dinner. The mom's like, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah, him at dinner was my favorite, where he literally has like, he's dead-eyed.
It was like a virus. It was like a zombie virus. It was so over the top, man.
So one of my little plot holes, just fucking point the end of the computer towards the door.
Yeah. Why don't you just rearrange your room?
Just rearrange, not even a lot. Just slightly angle it so that if someone walks in the door, they can't see what you're looking at, so that you can spend the 2 seconds talking to them while you close those windows. Also, you should close your door more often, because when the mom catches you looking at porn, it's because you have the door wide fucking open.
Why is the family computer in his room to begin with? Because everyone's in his room on the computer.
Why does his room look like an office?
That's the first thing you said. You're like, what is this his room?
Is his room also the family room? We're gonna move the computer to the family room. He's like, well, that's also my room.
His room was like 80% office, and the rest was a bed.
I wish we could know what the mom did for a living. That would have been nice.
She definitely works at that office, doing I have no idea what, but apparently she contributes to the family income in some way. Because they have a fight about that. But she seems to always be hanging around the school.
Yeah.
And swimming at the school.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre.
The school. It's they established that like mother like son, that she was like a high ranking swimmer, and she went to college for swimming. Like she had a scholarship like that. And so the one part where the dad's like, how does it feel to be on the all-star team? And he's like, pretty good. But you know what's even cooler? They put my medal right next to mom's. And the dad's like, that is cool. High five. Not a single high five, double high five. Double high five. And the kid's like, fuck yeah. Now, is it because she's such a good swimmer that they just keep the swimming pool open to her at all times?
Maybe it's like they welcome her.
Legendary swimmer. You get a free pass to the swimming pool you used to reign in. Like, you're allowed here anytime you want, girl.
That was a weird scene when he saw his mom swimming at the school.
Yeah,
it was so fucking weird.
Yeah, it was very strange.
Because we were theorizing that he was gonna find her attractive, which would have been crazy.
Yeah,
but no. Nope.
But yeah, just fucking angle the computer, dude.
And how about don't download porn to your girlfriend's PDA?
Yeah, that was a bad choice.
That was terrible.
Don't do that.
Or sign into your high school email, and then also surf the web and look at porn at the library.
So the brother, because he was a dumbass and didn't angle his computer away from the door, the brother ends up seeing porn, and then later on the brother is just on the same computer and he's downloading a bunch of porn and then burning it to CD-ROM, which whatever, okay. But he titles all of them, which is my favorite thing ever, and the one disc is called Virgin Vaginas, which I wrote down, that would have been the closest thing to porn we would have seen. Because everyone's clothed in this pornography. Absolutely everyone.
Yeah, I mean, their parents should be proud of them.
It
was very tame porn.
They could even gone into like an even more interesting route where maybe the son has gotten to a point where like he found his father's porn and he moved beyond that and starts fetishizing different things. Like maybe this could have been a movie about him like obsessed with like videos of feet. And the parents wouldn't even know how to fucking stop that, because they'd be like, what do you fucking do with a kid that, like, he just fucking jerks off to feet all the time? Or like, it's just like...
Well, it's like, it's a harmless porn he's addicted to. It's not like because his mom was concerned about how he was gonna, how abuse women, but treat them differently because you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like it's just like shots of tits and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really see the harm in it. I mean, I think like you said, he just doesn't know how to prioritize his time. After discovering porn,
the parental concern that anyone has is the idea that if you see pornography, you would begin viewing people as objects as opposed to viewing them as regular people. But the thing is that you just need to realize that one, you're watching it in a way in which you're projecting into it. You're not actually like. You're not actually viewing it as like this is the way that people are treated. You're just watching it and fantasizing it. You know, it's just voyeurism. And like to think that people see porn and they're like, oh, this is how women are treated. Like you walk into a house with your real estate agent and you know she's like I've been showing this house to everyone and no one pays for it and no one wants to buy it, and then you're just like, well, fucking dump those tits out and then maybe I'll buy this house, and you're just like, well, okay. And people don't watch pornography and go, this is the way human interaction is. You know, I buy a pizza and then I don't have money, so I'll just fuck them. You know, like that's the concern that parents have, but it's one of those things where it's you're watching it for the act of coitus. You're not watching it for fucking anything else. Yeah.
I mean, he was just his biggest issue was he was a liar. Yeah, and he was like kind of a little bit of a manipulator. Like, yeah, he was able to turn on that like good old boy attitude and like get what he wanted. Yeah, throughout the whole. And I was like, that's kind of fucking creepy that he's able to do that. Once again, the entire time I was just waiting for it to be he steals the credit card and buys porn. Because up until that happened, I was like, there's no stakes for this. Like, you're not impacting your family. We got other than your stakes. Brother's dead shot eyes, like shell-shocked dead inside body now. Like, other than that, there's nothing that fucking happens. You know? We got some stakes at the end, though. Yeah. When Monica... So beats herself. She slams her head down on the fucking sink. But nothing comes of that. Yeah. So Justin turns down Monica because he finally feels bad about everything. Yeah. I don't know. She freaks out, kicks him out of her house, and then she immediately goes, which is like with the weirdest scene in the whole movie. She goes and stares at herself in the mirror. Yeah. And just fucking goes down on that sink. Straight down. Gashes her forehead open. Also, the blood was coming from like the top of her head, but then when you saw the cut, it was like right above her eyebrow. Yeah. So that's a goof. That's an early goof. But nothing happens. Yeah. She sends the jocks out to beat him, but that was it. Yeah. He gets beat up and then... Yeah. That's it. There's no restraining order against him. No public humiliation. Yeah. So he gets beat up, and then he goes to the pool to try to kill himself. Yeah. That was a magical scene, by the way. I considered that moment, basically, he's looking at all these photos of her, and he's fantasizing about her. Theoretically, maybe he's jerking off. I don't think he jerks off this entire movie. That would explain the whole movie if he didn't. But he's fantasizing about her, and he reaches out to her, and he's like, hey, let's meet up at your place. And they finally meet up for the first time. And I think it's one of those things where the idea is that it's the fantasy becomes the reality, and the reality isn't what he wanted it to be. He wanted it to be like his girlfriend Amy says in the beginning. To be magical, the first time to be magical. But she just wanted to get right at it. And Monica doesn't mess around. Yeah, Monica doesn't mess around. She just starts going for it, and he's like, "No way!" And so that's what causes him to say, "Stop!" Just fucking stop. And that's she comes up with her devious plan that she will beat herself and then say that he did it, and then her boyfriend will beat the shit out of him. Yeah. Yeah. Which doesn't really work for me. I didn't buy it, Like, he went, like you said, why did he go straight to the pool to kill himself? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. But, I don't know. Yeah. Good old Monica.
So the mom is looking for advice on what to do about her son, and she runs into another mom, and the mom says, "My marriage was destroyed because of his addiction to internet porn." And then they meet later on in the movie, and she just talks about how her husband would just watch porn constantly up until 4 a.m. And he would just be watching it, and she would just go, "And I was there, right there. Was I not good enough? Why wouldn't he just come to me?" And it's like, that's a good question. Why not? You know?
Because he was addicted.
Yeah.
He was addicted to porn.
Okay.
But the difference there, the key difference there, is that she was putting out and Justin's girlfriend was not.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
So I think Justin.
So he had that guy had a real addiction.
He had a real addiction, I think.
Where he was probably distancing himself and isolating himself from his family, like Terry Crews. I also enjoyed.
He's getting help.
I also enjoyed. Justin said, "I like to watch porn, a little bit of porn before I swim."
He said it jacks me up.
It jacks me up.
I like that was his response. Like that was his response to them making fun of him about being into leather and bondage and stuff. He was like, I like to watch some porn before.
I like to watch a little porn before I swim. It jacks me up.
You know what he does? He gets some of his famous Backwash Energy Drink, slurps that down, watches some clothed women, and then he's all jacked up.
I have to find out whether or not Backwash is a real energy drink.
I think it was Backwash. It's not. It's a Lifetime energy drink.
He drinks 40 of them in this movie.
He has a whole drawer full. I really liked the part where they're listening to Switchfoot and the school.
And he's like, "Switchfoot fucking sucks. I'd much rather listen to Green Day." And then he turns to Monica and he was like, "What do you think, Green Day or Switchfoot?" And she goes, "Switchfoot's for altar boys. I like green." And then she walks away. And I was like, yep, that's what happens. People fucking shorten Green Day down to just green.
And then if it faded to green there, that would have been perfect. Can you recut this movie so that that happens? I know you like to recut movies.
I could.
Okay, thank you. Another good line from this movie is, "I think it's tight that you're not afraid to talk about your faith."
I forgot about that.
This was Justin to his girlfriend.
I forgot that happened.
I didn't know she was religious until
he said that. Yeah.
Because I thought she was just she just wanted to wait. She wanted to be special. But then she gets real into God towards the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And so does he.
At the very end, when he goes to apologize to her about everything that he's done, and he's like, maybe not a date or anything, but we could just go out, hang out sometime, maybe talk. And she's like, "Yeah, no, I don't think so." And then he was like, "Well, I was thinking maybe I could go to church." And then she goes, "That's pretty radical." And he says, "I need to get radical."
And he fully admits his problem at the end of the movie.
That's my favorite line.
Well, I need to get radical.
I think I need to get radical.
I think we all, Max.
I think we all do. But yeah, I mean, this is just, I just think it would have been better if they just blurred out whatever he was showing on the computer. That way we could
be more realistic.
We could at least know that he was looking at something worth being blurred out.
Yeah.
As opposed to just seeing fully clothed people and they pretend it's porn. I loved the dream sequence that he had when he was in his bed and
his room.
And it's in his room and it's where the computer used to be and it's a whole bunch of fucking once again, not naked people. It's a bunch of closed people and then grinding against each other and just one nude black guy.
Very jacked.
One very jacked black guy. And I was like, he's getting into the good stuff.
He's into some shit at that point. You have any goofs for me?
I have some trivia. This is the IMDb trivia, which I when I told you that I saw some, I said that it's really mean because the first bit of trivia is the director of the movie played all the generic background music. That's just a mean wording of that.
That's rough.
One of the pornographic websites on the film was labeled "Naked Woman with No Clothes On."
But they all have clothes.
They do all have clothes.
Whoa.
Although pornography addiction virtually always involves some form of masturbation or sexual activity, the film never even implies the son is touching himself during his marathon viewing section. He simply looks at the photos.
Which kind of like explains the whole movie.
Yeah, definitely. Alright, and now for the goofs. In the first major swim meet scene, Steven and Diane are first seen standing side by side in the bleachers cheering, and then it immediately shows Steven walking back to Diane carrying a bag of popcorn.
Okay.
Good
catch.
Like, who fucking cares? Near the end of the movie where Justin goes to apologize to Amy, the shot of the front porch includes a giant white sticker on the mailbox that reads, "No junk mail." However, on the close-up shot, the sticker is missing in the mailbox. Okay. You point this one out. Oh, yeah. Monica's head wound originally appears on the top center of her forehead, but in the later scene in the diner, it's now on the location on the left-hand side of her face. And then Justin, I had this thought too. So the parents shut off the fucking internet for the house as punishment. And then Justin uses his mom's credit card to order internet porn, and he does it in the family room, but that order couldn't have been processed if there was no internet at the time. You know,
they could have just had him do that before she shut off the internet, just cut it that way.
Yeah.
And just left it. And then later on she finds out about the charges. But, you know, whatever. And then I had the beer. A tiny one, but at the party they put away the beers and there's one left on the table.
Little bit of trivia: at the one swim meet, one of the swimmers has a shirt on that says "swimming." It's pretty good.
That was pretty funny. Swimming. I gotta find that album, whatever that like knockoff Linkin Park song. Like it was the same song.
Oh, so good.
Oh man.
Is this?
Did you find more?
No, this is just quotes.
I was gonna read some of these reviews, but they're way too long. Like I don't think I'm gonna.
Steven Peterson, you better have an explanation. His wife Diane, like what? Virgin Vaginas are a new band.
That was a good one.
Well done. I think that's it.
I like the green.
The fade to green is my favorite.
The band green is my favorite.
Next week, we'll be doing Disney's Descendants 1.